Okay, welcome back. Even better than the top crime stories, which you guys know I love, is somebody I have not seen in so long in person, face to face in quite a while. The great, spectacular, not only erudite, but just wonderfully beautiful human being, great lawyer, great writer. Aaron, welcome back.
I was in Kentucky despite your claims that I indeed was not. I've heard rumors of these claims. I was physically in the state of Kentucky to cover the Shayna Huber's trial. The deputies who were there providing court security can indeed confirm that I was indeed in that courthouse.
Well, now, Aaron, I was not going to bring that up because I know it was a little bit of a sensitive topic that I was jousting about the fact that I thought you were really here in New York hanging out on vacation with a backdrop of Kentucky behind you. But now that you did bring it up.
Listen to the logic of that.
Well, look, there doesn't need to be logic to it. It just needs to be stated.
And you won your cases?
Yeah, actually quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. But no, were you really down there?
Yes.
Did you have fun? No, I know you were, but you did a great job. It was you have some very interesting insights. I hope that we're going to be able to get to them.
I hope so too. Look, you always pick up more when you're in the courthouse as opposed to just watching.
Yeah, especially if we do have an opportunity. I was very interested about what you were saying offline about the feel of it as it relates to the defendant in the case, who's kind of getting knocked around a little bit about being a little bit crazy and whatever. But you had some thoughts about her responses to this whole scenario.
Well, look, I mean, you know, I wish we could show this case in its entirety. Again, the judge is allowing cameras, but not allowing us to show the case in its entirety. It's certainly a different order than what we're used to seeing from a judge, but being able to show the case in its entirety would give the public a clearer sense of what not only the prosecution argument is, but the defense argument, because we would be able to provide it without any editorial overlay on top of it, without trying to characterize it or construe it or quote it or explain it. It would just be the argument in front of the public. And this is why we're advocates of being able to show these trials in their entirety, because look, if a defendant gets a full defense in court, then the defendant should get a concomitant full defense in the court of public opinion. In this case, it's clear from the opening statements that there is a mental health element that's being laid over this case, and the defense is saying that a mental health diagnosis explains some of the defendant's behavior. Okay, I was there in court. I believe that there is some mental health element that is attached to this. The question is, under Kentucky law, is it a reasonable excuse? And if we were able to show these entire opening statements to everyone, we would get a cleaner sense out to the public just exactly why the defendant is making that argument. And the defendant is making that argument because under the letter of the law in Kentucky, it is an argument the defendant can make.
I know the producers, we weren't even thinking about going into this, but I love it until I've been told here in this earpiece that we have to stop and move on. I'm going to talk to you. I want to get to this point that you just raised about cameras in the courtroom, because this is a big issue that went on with the Manafort case too. And the fact that we don't have access to these things. What is to me it's archaic, Aaron. What is the justification for not allowing, what I've had in my cases, the ones I've won too, may I add, is a camera feed, one, in the courtroom, feeding out to the rest of the reporters, so it's not a circus. What's up? Is this the OJ effect still going on?
Well, see, that's exactly what a lot of it is. I mean, there's case law that goes back to the advent of television, basically, that says, okay, cameras have, and I understand the case law and I understand the rationale, but cameras have, in some cases, caused difficulties with the proceedings. But generally speaking, as it is with most new technology, we figured out a proper way to use it. And we cover responsibly here at Law and Crime, and other local media outlets cover responsibly time and time again trials here, there, and everywhere where cameras are allowed. And I was giving a speech over the summer to a group of attorneys in Connecticut, and I said, look, the more cameras are allowed, the more everyone knows how to behave responsibly with them in court. And that includes the litigants, that includes the jurors, that includes the press, and the public is used to seeing what happens in their courts, and they perceive their courts as more accessible and less scary.
Right.
Okay, so there are benefits to this as well. And look, we know that there have been cases where there have been problems. We've learned from those cases collectively, and I think that, look, as technology moves on, heck, if we can dial up right now and get court records in many jurisdictions, we ought to be able to have a camera there.
Yeah, listen, excellent analysis. Aaron, sorry to cut you short there, though great. We got to go to court. Molly Tibbetts will be with you on the other end.